Welcome to the discussion this morning. This is Bob Mcilvaine of the Mcilvaine Company, and we're going to be talking to you about a report that we've been working on literally since 1974. And it's all based on forecasting the markets for air, gas, water, and fluid treatment and control. And many of our clients who are obtaining our very specialized reports are in a position of looking at the entire $750 billion market and trying to figure out how they can move forward with additional products and additional areas of focus. So some years ago, we summarized a lot of this information in an umbrella report, which we labeled NO64. And what we realize now is that it's an ideal report for anyone who wants to expand the products that they're selling, and particularly for those who are going to make acquisitions or to merge and be acquired. And so we have also been working hard to obtain analysis of all the acquisitions that have gone on. And in fact, we've always paid a great deal of attention to acquisitions because it's the acquisitions that, when they occur, that give very detailed information about sales, revenues, strategies, etc. We provide 73 sets of market forecasts in this report. That's continuously updated. There's a monthly newsletter, especially for the NL64, and it does have market and acquisition information. There's an acquisition database and analyses, a networking directory with contacts at companies in each of the 23 product segments for countries all over the world, and weekly insights into the next best fit for a multi-divisional or private equity firm. Insights are equally useful for general understanding of the air and water and certainly treatment markets. Multi-divisional companies and private equity firms are looking for the next best fit, and that it may be in the $750 billion market involving movement of measurement and treatment of air, gas, water, and liquids. This best fit for higher revenue and profits can be the result of synergistic products and/or application knowledge. For example, Amatec last year purchased Magnetrol. They're a market leader in level control for tough applications in pollution control and process separation. The major fit for an instrument company such as Amatec is they're acquiring a company in the same general product category, but with a unique design and markets. On the other hand, what about a system supplier such as Andritz, who's expanding their Metris digital solutions? Here the fit is in the process. And so they're adding something that helps them provide a better solution for the process. So the best fit can be synergistic products or synergistic processes. Private equity firms can build a portfolio based on either synergistic products or processes or both, all within the $750 billion market. Mcilvaine analyzes the markets, competitors, processes, and acquisitions in these many segments. But these individual services are designed to answer the question of whether a specific target company is a great fit. On the other hand, this NL64 answers a more basic question, which is what company or class of companies deserve further attention. The service can be combined as part of a package So the NO64 is step one. One or more of our focused reports could be step two. And then our private consulting can follow on as step three. So here's what you get in the NO64 versus the more focused reports. In the NO64, we provide world forecasts, whereas in the focus reports, all the forecasts are for all the countries of the world. In terms of industries, we address all the 17 industries in each of the reports. In the NO64, we aggregate the products into groups where we have very specific products in the focused reports. And there's a monthly newsletter just for NO64, as opposed to newsletters for each of the 23 subject areas. There is a weekly insights that's provided for both types of subscribers. That's provided weekly. And the analyses are broader in the NO64, and they're very focused, as we'll see later, in the focused reports. An OEM networking directory is provided whether you just buy a single specific report or you buy the NO64. And then there's an acquisition database. It's only has displays for 1 year. In the world report, in the focus reports for each of the areas, there's a 10 or 20 year analysis of all the acquisitions. So NO64 provides 8 sets of forecasts in the air segment with total revenues of 150 billion. 6 liquid segments have a total of 250 billion, and 10 solution segments have a total of 350 billion. The scope is primarily for process rather than discrete products. Only a small fraction involve residential or commercial products. The reasoning is that the companies serving the NO64 market are unique but are pursuing the same customers and applications. So the air group includes fabric filter, scrubber, FGD, which is flue gas desulfurization, DeNOx, thermal catalytic oxidation, air filtration such as HVAC, hose and fitting and clamps, and then fans, blowers, and compressors. The liquid segment has macro filtration such as liquid filtration, sedimentation, and centrifugation. And the more sophisticated finer filtration with membranes, it includes pumps and valves and ultrapure water. The solutions includes the IIoT report, which gives guide, control, and measure. We also cover clean room hardware, clean room consumables, clean room services, and water treatment chemicals is another segment of the solutions. In each of the categories comprising the 750 billion market, there are world forecasts by product type. This compares to hundreds of thousands of forecasts by product, industry, and country in the focused reports. But this overview is what is needed in step one, which is to target specific products or for further analysis or to rank the broader opportunities. But as you see here, when we get into something like valves, we've got all these different types of valves, and then we break it out into control versus isolation, and then for every country and industry, and then we even break it out between severe service, general service, critical service, and unique service. So ultimately, the 800,000 forecasts, but obviously these aren't needed for step one. The broader market forecasts in NO64 are sufficient for determining overall market shares. Changes in these broader rankings are reflected in the acquisition analyses. On the next slide, it is shown that Valmet went from unranked to 8th in valves with the Nellis acquisition. Emerson went from 33rd to number 1 with the Pentair acquisition. The slide also shows the more specific ranking changes by product and industry, but these are in the more focused reports in 64. So in this particular example, we looked at both the Nellis and Pentair acquisitions by Valmet and Emerson. And they changed the general rankings in the case of Emerson on valves from 0.2 to 3%, from 0 to 1 with Valmet. But if you get into the more focused reports and then what these acquisitions do, you see that for power plant FGD slurry valves, Emerson went from 0 to 15%, and for LNG valves 2 to 4%. So, and then Valmet went from 0 to 3% on pulp and paper valves. So the more focused reports take advantage of knowledge we gain in the acquisitions relative to the activities of these smaller companies. And again, this is something that only happens at the time of the acquisition. The acquisition directory rates the synergy if the revenues are in the same NL64 product areas at a score of 100 is assigned. The synergy is also rated with a potential from 0 to 100. This synergy is defined as not only being a product which can be sold with the existing products, but one which will improve the success of the existing products. So a perfect score would be 200 for an acquisition. The directory additions for June show a synergy low of 20%, where the acquired measurement company is mostly focused outside the NL64 scope. The high is 173 for a measurement acquisition closely allied to the whole area. And we see this in the example here. The first one is the get up so we see that first one there with a CDR roper, but above that you see, which is a good one, but the netto bend above it there is really buying a measurement company that isn't 100% measurement within the scope. On the other hand, you have 173%, as you see down the line here for the Amatec Magnetrol acquisition, which is buying a company that's all within the areas of the NL64, plus it is a sensor company. The monthly newsletter has a lot of good new information in it, and it's pretty comprehensive each month. This is the one just for this month. And we get into some of the market ramifications here in a couple of these different areas. What's going on with some of the companies, a public, large private equity firm like Carlyle is got certain strategies, and what are those strategies? As you can see here too, we get into 10 or 15, 20 at least acquisitions each month. There's certainly that many going on, and somebody like GCon is moving from just supplying the systems to buying somebody like Pasteur Op that actually makes the panels. And you get somebody like Nina and SDM, who are merging, and they're major players in the filter media and other products that go into these. So all these acquisitions are important. And in the case, for instance, of Donaldson buying biotech companies such as Purologics, there's a whole strategy to move into this biopharmaceutical area in a big way. So I think that is one of the advantages of these monthly newsletters is it's very detailed information sometimes, you know, whole pages of information about just what the strategy is behind a particular acquisition. And then lastly, we do have this networking directory. And as you can see at the top here, we do have a free demo that just shows the names of these companies and all their offices around the world in this view and correct your product listing. So you can actually go into that, and if you can't find it through this link, you can just go into the free news section of our website, and it shows up there. But in the subscribe directory that you get, you can access by the company name, by the product analysis, by financial entity. You can search by companies and service. You can search by state, by person, by country and/or country and service. So there's a lot of different ways to access, the many thousands of companies and many more thousands of people at those companies. So I'd like to thank you for spending the time to talk a little bit about the NL64 report. Again, I'm Bob Mcilvaine. I'm available anytime at 847-226-2391 or through my email address, and would be happy to talk to you. Thanks again for spending the time, and look forward to future meetings.